Alhamdulillah wa salatu wa salamu ala rasulillah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Today we want to clarify some of the misconceptions people have about the issue of the niqab and the hijab, the face veil and the covering of the Muslim woman. There's many arguments people put forward, and inshallah we'll try to go through some of them today. First one, obviously time and time again we keep hearing this every time. Every time an Islamic issue is brought up, they always bring up the oppression of the Muslim woman. They say that niqab and the hijab is actually a sign of oppression on the woman, is a form of subjugation of the woman. They say that it is actually a form of subservience to the man, how a woman shows her subservience to men. This is the symbolism of the niqab and the hijab. If this is the case, how is it, we need to ask this question, how is it the men who only have any sort of say on the woman's affairs, like her father, her brother or her husband, these are the people she doesn't have to cover in front of. If the niqab and the hijab is actually a sign of subservience, how is it she's not subservient to these people? Rather, in front of them she doesn't even have to cover her hair. So who is she showing subservience to? Rather, she only covers up in front of foreign men, foreign in terms of not her family, people who have no say in her life. They can't say anything to her, so they can't ask her to do anything. So she's free from them. How is it, if it's a sign of subservience, how is it the people she covers up in front of, she has no reason to listen to them. Rather, when we look from an Islamic angle how the Muslims actually behave and understand this, you see, as Muslim men, when we look to a Muslim woman, when we approach encounter a Muslim woman, we always lower our gaze. We look down, not out of disgust. We don't hate her, not out of hatred, but rather out of humility. We show honor to her. We don't stare at her in the eye. We do not take advantage of her looks. We do not try to draw pleasure from seeing her. And obviously this is a nature of human beings, of men, that they like to see women. When we see a woman, Allah tells us not to take advantage of that situation, rather lower our gaze, protect ourselves and honor the person. So this shows how we Muslims, we're not humiliating women, rather we're honoring them. But many people don't understand this. How is it, many people are brought up in a society which does not understand honor. For them, honor means dancing naked. Is that really honor? Would you like to see your mom dancing naked? Obviously this is a harsh scenario, but this is the reality. It's part of our nature to feel protectiveness of people we respect, people we love. We don't like them to be abused. So if you can identify when your own people, your own sister or your own mother is portrayed in that way, you feel bad about it. So how is it you want other women to expose themselves? So this is why, as Muslims, we honor all women, whether they are our mothers, our sisters or not. Every woman, we dignify them. This is what Islamic code of conduct enjoins on us. And obviously in the question of subservience, the real subservience of the women is when they expose themselves to entertain the men. Even if the men pay them money, it's a way she's abusing herself. She's actually being subservient to them, people who want to take advantage of her situation. Even if they give her status, even if they give her money, this is the way she's selling herself. She's selling her honor to get something that she feels in need of, like honor or money or anything. So rather, Islam protects her from this sort of abuse. This subservience of the women in the West, we see, whether it's enforced like in legislation trying to prevent them from covering up, or just purely by social pressure. The pressure on the woman is to expose herself, make herself more dazzling. If she's not beautiful, if she does not fit the bill, then she's not really a woman. That's the mentality that is being promoted. And what fruit does it bring? You see how women are going through so many sort of illnesses, psychological illnesses, physical illnesses, just because of this pressure. They want to look good, they want to go on a diet, they don't want to come out without 10 layers of makeup. All of these are actual, they even have medical terms for them. So if this is the level of oppression just on the women, So how is it the veil that protects them from all this is rather seen as an oppression? Rather, if you ask the Muslim women who choose to wear it, you realize they feel that the veil actually frees them, it liberates them. They don't have to, work hard to make other people notice them. Rather, they go, it liberates them, it allows them to go into society without any sort of distraction, without having to be judged by other people. The next question, obviously, is proposed that the veil is actually a communication barrier. Now, the question I'd like to ask is, what sort of communication are we talking about here? How is it a communication barrier? To be honest, I'd like to agree that actually it is a communication barrier. But what type of communication? The type of communication that leads to flirting, that leads to seduction. All these sort of things, the veil is there to protect men and women from that sort of communication. This is what Islam, as Muslims, we shun, we reject. And Islam has a practical method which we protect ourselves from that. But if you want to talk to day-to-day communication, daily life communication, the veil actually facilitates communication between men and women, the interaction between men and women, without the unnecessary distractions, if you like. It protects the women and the men in society. At the same time, they can buy and sell, they can communicate, they can learn from each other, they can educate. All sorts of communication it facilitates just by a simple code of conduct. Practical example, if you like, we Muslims, we take half of our religion from the wife of the Prophet, Aisha radiallahu anha. She taught so many hadiths to this ummah while she was veiled. If she had a communication problem, we would not have Islam as it is today. So how is it that the Muslim women, if you look to the past and the present, they buy and sell, they teach, they even are judges. All of this, it does not restrict them at all. Rather, it facilitates for them. And it protects them from unwanted distractions. This is the mercy Allah has given us. It is not for us as human beings to judge Allah. Rather, Allah gives us the best way of life. And when we learn about our own reality, our own behaviors, we come to the conclusion that the way of life Allah has given is actually practically and theoretically the best model for her. And if you want to say, obviously, communication in terms of her day-to-day life, that the veil actually restricts her, we see, obviously, this day and age, people communicate remotely throughout the whole globe. We have transactions from India all the way to America, vast distances where people don't even see each other. Nowadays, even the computer that processes most of the stuff, where people have removed the need for even human being even being on the other end to communicate with. So in this age, how is it that seeing a face is so important? A brain surgeon or a surgeon, if you like, he has to do a vital task. Not many people can do this. It's a very delicate operation. But how is it when he covers his face, it doesn't stop him from anything? When he communicates with his with the other doctors, if he makes a mistake in what he says, they'll give him they'll make a mistake, give him the wrong tool, if you like, or give the wrong dosage to the actual patient. Yet, him covering his face does not stop him doing his day-to-day affairs, such vital affairs, life and death situation. So definitely, this is just an excuse people try to use. It has no basis, it's no argument at all. Rather, it's an excuse they try to use to obviously justify this. Another question people bring forward is that, look, why is there such a fuss about the niqab or the hijab? Where does it say in the Quran that you have to actually cover your face? This argument is actually a very shallow argument because, first of all, when it comes to Islam, we do not just follow the Quran on its own. We follow the Quran and the teachings of the Messenger, sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Nowhere in the Quran does it say pray 5 times a day. Rather, the Prophet taught us to pray 5 times a day. It doesn't say how to pray. Rather, the Prophet taught us how to pray. So Islam is not based just on the Quran, but rather with the Quran and the sayings of the Prophet, sallallahu alaihi wasallam. When it comes to the issue of the niqab, the Prophet, the verse of Allah came down to tell the women to cover up. We practice this the way the Prophet taught us to practice. Now, when it comes to understanding the Quran or the Sunnah, it's for the jurists, the Islamic scholars. to decide what it means, how it interprets. And when they have a difference of opinion on a matter, we cannot ban one opinion over another. Rather, both opinions, if they're valid, then both of them are part of Islam and we have to honor both of them. So it's no one can say because one opinion says that, the other one opinion should be banned. So who gives anyone the right to ban one opinion over the other when both of the opinions are valid? In Islam, Muslims have a difference of opinion how they pray. Does that mean you're going to ban one form of prayer tomorrow and support one? This choice should be left for the Muslims to decide which one they feel is the strongest opinion, which one they feel would please Allah the most, which one will fulfill their obligation to obey Allah. This is for the Muslims to make a decision on. This is their right to worship Allah, which way they feel is the strongest opinion. So it's not for someone else to have a say in this matter.